Hey, this is SJ Talks to Life coming back at you. I want to check. Here's my Sunday dinner. We're making some sweet potatoes, some fried chicken wings. I tell you, when you use that newer grease, it takes forever for the chicken to get crispy. I like my wings nice and crispy. But when you use that newer grease, it takes forever for them to get done. My my cabbage, cornbread, and some mac and cheese. That's what I'm having for my dinner. My baked mac and cheese. Yeah, I'm back. I noticed that when on my channel, I keep it 100. You guys, if you watch me on a regular basis, you know that I keep it 100 on my channel. I don't sugarcoat nothing. And there's times that I talk about racism. I talk about various different topics, and I'm do some current events. But there's times that I talk about racism. But I'm very passionate about the black community. So I like to discuss a lot of issues that's going on in the black community. So I talk about both sides. I talk about the issues with black men and issues with black women. I'm not just one-sided. Now, I know that there's YouTube channels on here that are one-sided. They just talk about black men, everything that black men do, but never talk about what black women do. Or there's, on the flip side, you have channels of just talking about everything is black women this, black women that, everything that black women do, but they never talk about what the black men do. So you got, I don't play that on my channel. I talk about the issues on both sides. Because there are issues on both sides. I've said that time and time again. There are issues on both sides. And so I'm not one-sided. Because I'm a firm believer of the issues that's going on between black men and black women are affecting our children. Okay? And nobody seems to really think about the children. They're so busy worrying about everything black women do or everything black men do, but nobody ever thinks about the children, everything that's going wrong, that's going on in the black community, what black men and women are doing, and how it affects the children. Nobody takes the time to think about how it affects the children. Because everybody's so busy with this blame game. Everybody want to come on YouTube and talk about one side, get a bunch of views and subscribers, and make all this money. But what is your point? I mean, you're just basically just pointing a finger, bashing, and just one side, one gender in the black community, without really coming up with any solutions. And you don't have the children's best interest in mind. All you got in your best interest is your pockets. Those people aren't really passionate about the black community. The people that just constantly talk about black men or constantly talk about black women, those people are not passionate about the black community. They're passionate about their bank account. They're passionate about their viewers and subscribers. And they do whatever's going to get them paid. Because black people bashing, whether it be male or female, is big business on YouTube. Let's face facts. People make a whole lot of money bashing black women. People make a whole lot of money bashing black men. It's big business here on YouTube. Black people bashing each other. It's big business here on YouTube. But those people really aren't passionate about the black community, because all they really care about is how many viewers and subscribers that they can get and how many subs they can get and how much money they can get. They act like they're passionate, but if you're so passionate, why aren't you talking about both sides? Because what both men and women are doing in the black community is ultimately affecting our children. So, you're not really passionate about the black community. You're passionate about your bank account. That's what you're passionate about. I come on here and I talk about both sides. I talk about the issues going on with black women, and I also talk about the issues going on with black men. If I might have to start combining them all in one video, but that will be an extremely long video. But I noticed that when I talk about the issues with black women, the video that I did with the thumbnail, Marry Before You Carry, that video where I'm telling black women, I was talking about this black woman that came on TikTok, and I think she had 4 kids, 4 baby daddies, I think. And I was talking about referencing her, but I was referencing all black women that have multiple children by multiple fathers. And I was mainly talking about how black women need to take the time to vet more and take the time to find out who they're dealing with before they get impregnated. But, you go over there. If you haven't had a chance to look at that video, go over there and look at it. The thumbnail is Marry Before You Carry. Okay. So I got over 500 views on that video. And I got black men coming in my comment section saying, yeah, you telling the truth, sister. See, I get an A-OK. When I got over 500 views on that video, I get an A-OK when I'm addressing the women. The men love it. But then I did another video talking about, because black men keep using the excuse that black women kick black men out of the house because of welfare. And I'm making the point that was back in the 60s and 70s. That has nothing to do with now, because the welfare system has changed. Nobody can just sit on welfare anymore. And it's a fact that a lot of excuses is made to not take responsibility for your children. See, and a lot of times, men want to put everything on the women. See, God forbid, and I got men in there that's hurling insults at me. And I don't have as many views on that video. So see, when I do videos addressing the men, see, you guys get bitter. You get bitter and you don't want to hear it. But then when I do videos addressing the women, oh yeah, you right, sister. I get all kind of crazy views on those videos. See, we got this issue in the black community. The issue is that everybody wants to always hold the women accountable for stuff. But nobody wants to hold black men accountable. For some reason, the black community likes to coddle black men. But I look at it like this. Black men and black women are adults. Adults are supposed to take responsibility for their actions. Black men are not children. They're not dogs, contrary to what a lot of women may say. They're not dogs. Dogs just go and get a female dog pregnant and walk off. Black men are human beings with the ability to reason. God holds us to a higher standard. We're not animals. We're higher than animals. He created us first. So God holds us to a higher standard, and He expects us to use our mind to make sound decisions and make responsible decisions. And when you don't do that, there are consequences. Black men and black women are adults. And when you don't do what you're supposed to do, then both of you there's consequences to suffer from that. You got to suffer the consequences from that. Okay? And we got this issue in the black community that everybody wants to always dump everything on the black women, but God forbid if someone holds black men accountable for anything. God forbid. But isn't black men supposed to be the leaders in the black community? Black men are supposed to be the leaders in the black community. So why is there an issue with holding black men accountable? Everything is the black woman's fault. The black woman this, the black woman that, the black woman this, the black woman that. But nobody wants to hold the men accountable for nothing. And when someone does hold the men accountable, oh God. Just like Cynthia G. Now I admit Cynthia G does bash. Her delivery is not good. She does sometimes, a lot of times she bashes in her delivery. But a lot of things that she says is true. A lot of things that she says is true. Is her delivery off? Yes. Does she bash in the process? Yes, she does. But a lot of times she's speaking the truth on the issues that black men have. Now, she one-sided? Yes, she is one-sided. But a lot of what she's saying is true. On my channel, I talk about both sides. I don't just talk about all black women. I don't just talk about all black men. Okay. So if you see a video with me addressing the women, don't bust your arm patting me on the back. Because I'm going to do a video at some point addressing the men, because that's what I do on my channel. I hold both black men and black female women both accountable, because black men and black women are adults and they are supposed to be responsible for their actions. Because the issues with black men and the issues with black women are affecting our children. When we make these bad decisions, it affects our children. When we lay down with each other without being married, and a child is born, and the man don't want to be bothered, or whatever the situation is, that ultimately affects our children. And I mentioned in that other video, when we don't do things God's way, when we don't do things His way, there is a divine order. And we don't do things God's way, we're going to have problems. God said that we're supposed to get married before we have children, so the family could have that solid, family structure. But when you go outside of the will of God, you're going to have problems. And that goes for me and for every person on the planet. When you go outside of God's will and you don't do things God's way, you're going to have problems. We're going to have problems when we don't do things God's way. And we're going to suffer the consequences. And unfortunately, our children have to suffer as a result of the bad choices that black men and black women are making. Two people that are supposed to be adults. And when you are an adult, you take responsibility for your actions. Whether you be a man or whether you're a female, when you make a mistake, you take responsibility for your actions. You accept responsibility. So all this putting everything on black women and not never holding the men accountable, I don't play that. I don't play that on my channel. And there's other channels on here that believe in doing that. I don't play that. Because black men are not children and they're not dogs. They are adults. In fact, they're supposed to be leaders in the black community. So actually, God holds them at a higher standard. God holds men at a higher standard because He created man first. He made man the head of women and children. So He's going to hold you guys more accountable. But somehow black people are not getting that memo in the black community. They're not getting that memo. Other races of men understand the hierarchy. Other races of men and other communities understand that the men are the leaders. Okay? But for some reason in our community, our men have a hard time grasping that concept. That we're supposed to be the most spiritual people. But for some reason, our men do not grasp that concept. They seem to think that everything is on the black woman. That it doesn't make sense, because God didn't create women first. He created men first. Men are supposed to be the head. It's supposed to be God, man, woman, and children. And that is the order, the divine order that things are supposed to go in. But it seems like a lot of people aren't getting that memo. So black women should be taking more responsibility for their bodies and what they do, and black men are supposed to be taking more responsibility for their bodies and what they do. Because you're an adult, you're not a child. Okay, you know the consequences of getting involved with a woman that's not your wife and getting her pregnant. You know the consequences of that. Unless you're retarded, you know the consequences of that. Unless your mind ain't right, you understand the consequences of that. Bottom line. So I'm not going to give black men a free pass. And I'm not going to let black men off the hook. Nor am I going to let black women off the hook either. So I address both sides on my channel. And anybody got a problem with that, well, don't watch me. If you like to see that bashing that goes on other channels, then okay, we're going on them channels. I'm not about all that. I'm going to address both sides because I care about our black children. I have our best. I care about the black community. I'm not about all that bashing, but I'm about keeping it real and speaking the truth. And if you have issues, you want to go to a channel where they're this bashing all black women and saying black women and black, okay, we're going over there then. Or you want to go to a channel where they're just bashing black men and saying black men this and black, okay, we're going to that channel then. But I'm not about that here. I'm about addressing the issues on both sides and coming up with some possible solutions. That's what I'm about. And if you ain't about that, then okay. Watch something else that I might talk about that maybe doesn't relate to that. Because I talk about other things too as well. Or watch somebody else's channel. Okay. But, don't get mad at me because I state the obvious. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't get mad at me because I state the obvious. When I address the men, you guys I either don't get the views or I get insults hurled at me or y'all, whatever. But when I addressing the women, ooh, you guys are all in. Oh, you surely telling the truth, sister. And I get all these crazy views. I see the difference. I see the difference between the views on that video and between the views of the other video that I did about the welfare system. Ain't hardly got nowhere near as many views. And then a couple guys come on there and hurl insults at me. I ain't going to do nothing but remove your comment and block you. That's all I'm going to do. So it's just the same theory when I talk about racism and I'm addressing, when I talk about racism, anytime a black person talks about racism, white people, you're a racist. You're a racist. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. But let you talk about something about black people, anything pertaining to black people. Oh, they silent on that. They silent on that. They might even come and agree with you on it. It's the same thing. See, when people want to hold a mirror up to them, there's a problem. But then when you hold a mirror up to other people, they ain't got no problem with it. They silent. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing with this gender war thing. It's the same thing. But I talk about everything. I'm going to talk about the issues as I see it on here. And I'm sorry, I keep it 100 on my channel, and I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm sorry, hey, if you don't want to see that, then go somewhere else. Ain't no sense in getting in the comment section and copying an attitude. You see what the title is. Okay, you don't want to hear it, then don't click on it. So I just want to make that very clear to you guys. I want to make that very clear to you guys that I address both sides on my channel. I'm not one-sided. So I'm not about all that. Those people that do that, they just want to make money. They just want to profit off of bashing black men or black women. They just, yeah. Or and they're extremely bitter. They're bitter people. They're bitter and they're damaged. And they're projecting that hurtful energy onto YouTube. those people have an agenda. I don't have no agenda on here. I just got the best interest of the black community at heart. And if you go back and watch some of my older videos, you'll find that out. Okay, I just wanted to get that said on here. And okay, until the next video, hit that like, subscribe, and share. And until the next video, be blessed.